this pre-annexation agreement, item 46. Could staff just clarify? So we're only talking about the Sala and Harrison Road areas, or is it more expansive than that?
Yeah, I'd have to pull up the actual map. There should be a map attached if I'm not mistaken.
I see Eric is online. I don't know if Eric is able to respond to that
That would
question.
be great.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Eric Lundquist, Housing and Community Development Director. Supervisor Alejo, yes, that it would encompass a larger area, but you'll see on your map there is Area K from the City of Salinas' economic development element, and also there is included Reserve Area K as part of that. And there are certain triggers for when the city may proceed forward with annexation of this land, and those are included in your draft pre-annexation agreement.
Eric, are you able to share the screen real quick with that map?
Sure, one second.
Yeah, it looks like it's only that area. I just wanted to make sure, because a few years ago, I think when Supervisor Salinas was still on, we, both of us were on this ad hoc committee on future annexations around Salinas. We met like once, and then it never came back to us. There was a conversation by the board about what other areas, but since then it kind of never came back, and that issue has never been agendized again on this board. So I just want to make sure it's not beyond the scope of this one area, because there were numerous areas around Salinas where the conversation was taking place 4 years ago or so.
Yes, Supervisor Alejo, those areas are included in the 2019 addendum to the Salinas and County MOU. However, this pre-annexation agreement only applies to areas K and the reserve area K that are included in the city's economic development element. There are some provisions within the draft pre-annexation agreement that apply to and recognize a status quo of certain things, that one of them being the tax sharing agreement that the city and the county have agreed to just maintain the current agreement on the tax sharing. There are also some other provisions that we mentioned earlier. What would trigger future annexation of this land is that there's another project in the area that actually is adjoining the city limits, that if that proceeds forward, that the city would be more interested in annexation of that larger area on this corridor of Harrison Road. And I can
Sorry, I just wanted to just point out though that 3 or 4 years ago, the Board of Supervisors, when Supervisor Salinas was still on, had a conversation or a discussion among the board looking at other areas of potential annexation with the city, of its sphere of influence. And it was looking at the property along Abbott, between the city and the old Firestone place. It was looking at properties near the commercial areas on Davis Road. And it was looking at the property off of Blanco and Main, off of 68, that corner parcel. So there was a larger conversations here, and then there was an agreement to move forward on that parcel on Blanco and South Main, and that's why the ad hoc was created, to have further conversations with Supervisor Salinas and I and the city and the county. And as I said, we met once and it never kind of came back again. So that's kind of what was put on the table and unfinished business, but this spurred the idea that whatever happened to that, I think it's been years and it's still yet to return to us.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Alejo. I will look into that. I am unaware of those past discussions, but we'll look into it and then report back.
I don't think you were on yet, Eric, but certainly Charles and Les were, because they were at that one meeting we did hold.
And Supervisor, just to add in, I think I agree, we did have that prior meeting, but my recollection is that since then there have been some piecemeal approaches to some of the different projects that are out there, and so it never came back as kind of